Hi, this is Tassie Pippert. Thank you to Atlantic Union Bank for supporting Tassie's Table. Atlantic Union Bank offers a range of financial solutions for consumers and businesses, including checking, savings, and lending. More about what they have to offer is available at atlanticunionbank.com or at a local branch. Are your burgers mundane? Well, today we're taking them from plain Jane to insane. So on Tassie's Table today, it's bacon onion chipotle jam. That's gonna dress up your burgers anytime, and it's easy to make. Let's get started with a ½ pound of bacon. Now I've chopped this really small, so I just cut it about ½ inch pieces, and then I cut it up again. So what we wanna do is put it in a hot pan and get that fat rendered out. So what we want to get to is some nice little crispy pieces of bacon. This is going to take us about 5 minutes. You can see all this fat rendering out of the bacon. The key is to make sure that these pieces that are more fatty ends up nice and crispy. So it's going to take about another 30 seconds. And then what we want to do is drain off all of that fat from the bacon. At this point, you want to make sure you keep stirring so nothing burns. So let's just lift this up and pour it through our sieve, catching all that bacon fat, because we want to still use some of that. There we go. Ooh, boy, that smells good. Now I had my pan on about medium high for that. I want to turn it back to just below medium because we're going to add some butter to the pan and we're going to return a little bit of that bacon fat. So I want, about a tablespoon of bacon fat back in my pan, maybe just a speck more. And then I want to add a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of butter to the pan. There we go. And we don't want it to burn. That's why we turn that heat down a little bit. Now we're going to add a cup of chopped onions, and I have these kind of a medium chop. And then we're going to stir these onions for about 10 minutes or until they become a nice caramelized, beautiful golden brown. Now look at those beautiful caramelized onions. That took between 10 and 15 minutes. Now we want to add some components that will give us some sweetness and some tartness to our jam. First thing we're going to add is a little balsamic vinegar and some apple cider vinegar. And then I want to add a little bit of sugar. This is just table sugar. And then I want to add about a teaspoon of maple syrup. All right, let's let this cook for about 5 minutes while it gets nice and thick. And then we'll come back, we'll add a little bit of chipotle, and we're going to just simmer it a bit and add water as we need it to keep it from burning. Now you can see this is getting nice and thick. We want to go ahead and add about a teaspoon of chipotle pepper. Now, chipotles are a wonderful pepper that starts out as jalapeno, and then you smoke them and you put them in adobo sauce and they're delicious. All right, and I want to add back in my bacon. Now at this point, it's getting really, really thick. I want to add a little bit of water, about a tablespoon at a time. I have up to a 1/4 cup of water, but you won't need all of that. The water helps to keep everything from burning, but it also mellows out all the flavors. I find that I love this jam on burgers, but I also really like it on chicken sandwiches. Okay, so my jam is beautifully thick. It looks like it's coming together like jam. I'm getting this crystallization on the edges of my pan, which is what I'm looking for. And I'm going to let it simmer for about 3 minutes, and then we're gonna build a burger. All right, let's build these burgers. This is just so good. I absolutely love it. The first time I made it, I thought, my heavens, why haven't I been making this my whole life? I'm gonna take about, 2 tablespoons and put it on the bottom of each bun. Now that recipe makes enough for 4 burgers. And I just want to spread it around a little bit. Make sure you get some in every single bite. And then we want to top it with the burger. Now I like to put the burger right against the jam. That way it has the chance to kind of melt a little bit down into the bread. It's so good. Then let's top it with a little tomato, a little pickle, and some lettuce. See, those mundane things, but wow, with this bacon jam, so good. Now, let's just top it with a little bun top. And I toasted the buns. I think toasting the buns also adds a lot of flavor and a lot of texture, of course. Well, I hope you'll enjoy this recipe. For this one and a lot more, join me again on Tassie's Table.